All right, so I was going through my books and reading about business and entrepreneurship, innovation, marketing, sales, and here's something that I realized. There's not a blueprint for what it takes to build a great company. There's a lot of individual elements and a lot of things covered that are similar to an MBA, for example, which is like, hey, here's the best practices you should have in a business. But when it comes to being an entrepreneur and tackling the psychology and understanding what it takes to actually push yourself to the next level and build a great organization, well, I haven't really been able to find anything comprehensive. So that's why I wanted to create this video for you right here, right now, today. And maybe if you're somebody who's dreamed of a bigger life for themselves, said, hey, you know what, there's gotta be more to it than what I currently see around me. And how do I build that? If that's something that interests you, then this video is going to be great for you. So when it comes to building a great company, what is the first thing you need? The first thing you need is actually not what you might think. The first thing you need, it's not sexy, it's not that cool, but it is important, and that is legal protection. Now, just want to mention I'm not a lawyer or a legal expert, so please seek your own legal advice. But the first thing that you need to do if you're going to be doing business is to be able to separate yourself as a legal entity from your business. That way, in an off chance that a contract goes wrong or anything happens, you have a veil of legal protection as a separate legal entity so that your personal assets are safe. Okay, that's number one. Now, the second thing you're going to need is a vision. When most people think, what is an entrepreneur? I think these really grandiose terms come up, right? Who are the entrepreneurs that we look up to? Elon Musk, Steve Jobs, Jeff Bezos, Bill Gates, these guys that have built these big companies, these massive movements, and the social architecture behind what they do, I think, is what all humans secretly desire. We desire to have an idea that we had in our mind, in our imagination, and that we were able to take that idea and bring it into the world and get people bought into it and have people follow along and get excited to push our ideas. That makes us feel validated. And looking at these entrepreneurs that were able to realize something so big and so great, I think the reason why we look up to them is not the billions of dollars they make. I think that is a component of it. If you were to look at it, the real reason is they exhibit power within the real world to be able to make a difference and make an impact and live very congruently. So the second thing that you need after legal protection is vision for what your business is going to do and what your business is going to be and the impact that it's going to have on the world. Now, whenever this comes up, people say, hey, I don't have a vision or I don't have an idea. And my honest response is you better get an idea, and you better get an idea quickly, because at the end of the day, the direction that we're moving in society, look at AI, look at machine learning, look at all the things that are automated now. We live in a knowledge society, and the human mind and its ability to create new patterns and innovate is what separates us from our ability to compete versus not compete. So if you're sitting there and you don't have a vision for your life, ask yourself, like, how do I teach myself imagination? That's always the question that comes up for me is, how do you teach imagination in entrepreneurship? If somebody doesn't have a vision for their own life, it's not really anybody else's job to set that vision for you. It's your job to set that vision for your life. And if you want to be free in the free market economy, then guess what? You want to have control over your financial future as well. So that means exhibiting control and accountability over those components of the vision of creating that financial future that is prosperous, that is abundant, that is deterministic, that actually creates a positive impact in the lives of those around you. The third thing is the culture. What are the principles that you live by and your organization is going to live by? Too often I see people start with product, sell. They make a little bit of money and then they have an existential crisis. Why? Because they never took the time to just really think through, what is the impact that I want to have? What is the difference that I want to make? And how does that work within a product market fit? We don't want to be delusional about these questions. We want to be tactical about these questions. But I find a lot of people overlook the culture aspect, and very often the culture starts with the founder. Are you the type of person that you would want to be in the room with, that you would want giving yourself guidance? And if you're not, then you need to raise your level of trust. And if you're not at the level of competency, then guess what? The very first thing you need to do, you can't teach marketing if you're not a great marketer. You can't teach X if you're not great at X, right? You wouldn't want to go into a doctor's office and have the doctor say, hey, I'm so excited to do surgery on you. So I read a book about it. I've never done it, but I've read a book about it, and now I'm going to teach you. Okay, and this is something that's really, really prolific, something that we stand by. Like every single thing that we teach, we practice on a daily basis when it comes to the marketing side of things. So we're in the trenches. This is our business. We live and die by our clients. And that's the culture that we have, is we treat your business like it's our business, for example. That's one of our core principles, because we understand the level of commitment that it takes to actually start a business and build a business and get revenue and get clients and build out products and to serve. Those people deserve to be supported. So that's one of our core internal values. And you got to figure out what your internal culture and your internal values are going to be. The fourth thing that you need is a product. Now, I think in the modern era, when you see these TikTokers, a lot of people are really I think have a lot of resentment around these younger guys that are making a lot of money, but you have to understand they have a product too. And that's their relationship with their audience that they've built. So they created an asset and they're giving you access to that asset. That is their product. So if you want to start a great business, you have to start with a great product, something that actually solves a problem. You can tackle an industry that you feel is underserved, or a problem that you feel is underserved or incorrectly served. If you see something that's frustrating a lot of people, that's usually a good sign that that might be something that you want to attack if you have the competency level to attack it. But when it comes to like digital products, here's my comment on this, okay? Like we're in the digital era, and I understand that you can just release a digital product and have it be mediocre and promote it to the masses without a care of whether or not it creates a net outcome. And I think what's fascinating about this, and just track me with this for a second because I think it's important, is digital marketers came as the antithesis to traditional schooling, right? How does traditional schooling work? You go 60, 80, 100, 120, sometimes more, thousands of dollars into debt so you can get a degree that you can present to somebody for them to give you a job so that then you can exchange X percent of your time over the next X years to be able to pay down that loan. And then from there, you can have a career. And in some cases it works. I think a lot of entrepreneurs are like bagging on school. They're like, school is terrible. Well, why is school terrible? Why is somebody investing in themselves terrible? Why is somebody actually taking the time and effort to get a profound education or depth of competency on a subject a bad thing? I don't think that's ever been a bad thing. I think it's a very good thing. But in a way, entrepreneurs have always been the antithesis of that. And yeah, those same entrepreneurs will go and release programs that are, let's face it, half-assed, incomplete, underserving of their audience. And so they're essentially committing the same sin as the traditional schooling system without really realizing it. So that's my last point on product. Like, find a product that actually solves problems for people. Get the feedback from those people and say, hey, did this help you? Was this useful? Was this something that you got value from? What was your transformation like? Did you change? Did you improve? Did the state of the planet get better or worse as a result of your product? That's pretty important. Number 5 is conversion mechanism. So you need a consistent conversion mechanism that is replicatable, a conversion system, if you will. Something that takes attention and eyeballs and leads and transforms them into dollars, into money, or whatever your local currency is, so that you can go ahead and you can reinvest that into your business and provide a better and better and better product or service. That is the name of the game. I think a lot of people see an entrepreneur as this, like robber baron in a way, where you have all this wealth and you're collecting it, you're collecting it. But really, at the end of the day, entrepreneurs are the realizers of ideas. So if you can realize your own ideas, that's the first step. If you can help others realize their ideas, that's like the second step. That's like the second layer, right? It's equally as powerful, if not more powerful, because you can do it at scale. We help our clients realize their ideas and build their dreams. And through that, we help our team members build their dreams too, which in turn helps me build my dream of building dreams. Crazy, right? But it's awesome. So that's kind of a part of our conversion thing, right? So how do you take somebody who is paying attention to your content, paying attention to your service, and transform them into a conversion, which then becomes a customer, which then becomes a relationship? And that's the 6th part, is retention and ascension. After you have established that relationship, because let's face it, going into your pocket, pulling out your wallet, putting in your credit card details, that is a personal experience, okay? If you don't think that's a personal experience, then you don't have any business being in business. Amazon knows very, very well that when you choose to buy a new table for your home, you can visualize your living room with that table in it, and you're attached to the emotional effect that it's going to have, or it might be a more practical thing like a hammer. But you have to be in tune with the psychology of the customer. When they see your offer, they literally have to go find their wallet, they have to take their credit card, they have to make the decision that even like your product's worthwhile. Like understand this. I think so many marketers are just missing this point completely. Like, really visualize it. Somebody is scrolling on Instagram past Lamborghinis, past luxury housing, past motivational videos, and they see your ad. Now, in that ad, you have to be so compelling as to entice them to stop looking at luxury housing and Lamborghinis and models and all the other stimulation and funny cat videos that are on there. To pause, to click, to pay attention, to engage, to realize that they want your solution, and then they have to physically get up. They have to physically get up. They have to go over to wherever their wallet is. Sometimes they lost their wallet. They have to pull their wallet out, open it, pull out their credit card, reevaluate again whether or not that decision is worth it. As they're looking at their credit card, like, man, it's a lot of stuff. I got to put this in. Do I really care enough? Then they got to go. They got to put in the thing. They got to get everything ready. They're looking at it. They're looking at the price. They're like, yeah, okay, I think I can afford this. You know what? I'm going to do this. I'm excited. They got to redecide again if they trust you enough to give you the credit card information. And Amazon is an established publisher. If you are like an entrepreneur or business owner, like, you have to build credibility through consistent testimonials and consistent case studies and consistent results for your clients so that you can have that authority in the space so that people are excited to do business with you. you're excited to buy from somebody, right? So that sense of fear, again, it's a very, very personal experience because you're taking, if it's somebody who trades time for money, you're essentially, they're taking a chunk of their life, a chunk of their time and investing in your product. And if you don't have a good ascension and retention mechanism afterwards, like you were just kicking yourself in the foot, because the retention is most important. Like, do they feel buyer's remorse immediately? Or are they excited? Do they feel taken care of? Do they feel appreciated? Do they feel seen? Do they feel heard? Do they feel understood? Do they feel listened to? Do they feel like you have their best interests in mind after they've bought your product or service? Or was it just another transaction and on to the next customer? Really think through that. And that is connected to Ascension. A lot of people think like Ascension upsell, Ascension get more money out of. I've heard that time and time and time and again. Like, that is not what Ascension is. What is something that you ascend? You ascend a mountain. Ascension is elevation. Ascension is uplifting. Ascension is raising the level. It's not just an upsell. It's not just an order bump. It's not just any of those things. You have to be able to help your people ascend. That is your role in their life, is you are the Sherpa and you've been to the top of the mountain before. Now, if you are Sherpaing and you haven't been to the top of the mountain, stop Sherpaing. Go to the top of the mountain and then come back and do your thing, okay? Like go to the top of the mountain, take your personal journey. Don't use your personal journey as a testing ground for coaching clients. That's not what life coaching is. Life coaching is not, I'm going through things and I'm also teaching you while I'm going through things. Okay, that's wild. Think that through, okay? What is your retention mechanism in your business after they've established that relationship? And what is your ascension mechanism that you're helping them go to the next level? And the seventh thing you need in business is momentum. Why? Because without velocity, without momentum, without movement, you're standing still. And very often as the founder, you have to push your own psychology to the next level to be able to gain that momentum. Because when you look around you, the reality is not a lot of people have answers to the questions that you need to ask, such as, what do I do if my funnel's not performing? Hey, what do I do about establishing a brand in an industry that's highly competitive? What about if my team is demotivated? What about if I have uncertainty or fear about my dependency on certain revenue sources? What about diversifying products? What about scaling out verticals within verticals? And how do we maintain culture as we go at scale? Those questions are the pressing questions. How do we take our product to the next level to have it deliver more value for the customer or client? And how do we do this in a way where we still have boundaries with ourselves about the things that we want to achieve too? Because while you're helping somebody else achieve, you too want to achieve through that, but you don't want to achieve because of that. Does that make sense? Like your ability to push yourself in your own psychology to the next level, to be able to realize your own dream, is the seed core part of your ability to be an entrepreneur. And the way that you perform under pressure while you do that is the second layer that's going to define whether or not you have fun on the journey. Because if you're not having fun on the journey, you're gonna give up, you're gonna tap out, you're gonna quit. And everybody knows that. So that momentum that you create through brute force is key. And then you have to figure out a way to transfer that momentum to your team so that your team has that same sense of urgency and passion and forward thinking, pushing the envelope, throwing the javelin, as I call it, where you have a target and you really need to put force behind it. That's what entrepreneurs do. They have an idea, and your idea is your spear, your javelin, and you have to throw it. You have to throw it forward through life, through uncertainty. And that can be the scariest thing ever. So I just want to run this back, okay? The 7 things it takes to build a great company. I'm gonna run it back. The 7 things you need in order to be able to run a great company or build a great company. The first thing is you need a legal protection so that your assets and the company assets are protected. The second thing you need is vision. You have to have the imagination to see something before it's actually there in front of you, and then the audacity to tell the world that you already exist in that space, in the future, in time, through the actions that you take over a prolonged period, which in turn creates that end result. Fascinating how that works, but if you don't have the imagination to see it, you'll never see it. You'll never put yourself on that path in the first place. That's the catch-22. The third thing that you need is culture, which is the translation of your own personal principles as a founder into your organization and the way that you conduct business. Super duper important. And the fourth thing that you need is a great product that actually solves a problem for people so that they feel appreciated for exchanging their dollars for your product or service. If you can get to gratitude through your product, that they are grateful and excited, and you feel that you over-delivered, you're gonna have a fantastic business no matter what industry you're in or how much competition you have, I guarantee it. The fifth thing you need is a conversion mechanism, being able to turn attention into currency that then you can reinvest into your business. The sixth thing you need is retention and ascension. So establishing and curating that relationship with the customer, and then helping them solve bigger problems in their life, which in turn has an intrinsic reward within the system that we operate in. And the seventh thing you need is momentum. And that's the trajectory to move forward as quickly as possible, to be able to get back up when things get rough, to be able to push yourself into new territory and do it in a way that's sustainable and that actually generates a movement around whatever that idea, mission, or vision is that you have. And that's pretty wild. So those are the 7 things you need to be able to build a great company. If you like this, what I'm gonna be doing is I'm gonna be breaking down individual elements of running a company, such as how to come up with a vision, or how to take that first vision you have and turn it into an MVP that you can roll out so that you can actually start to get feedback from the market. How to think about strategy, tactics, execution, taking the long list of tasks that you have as an entrepreneur and dissecting that down into a manageable process that you can do on a day-to-day or week-by-week basis that maintains that momentum for you, as well as how to create great culture, build great products, obviously create great funnels, run ads, etc., etc., etc. I'm gonna be calling it the How to Build a Great Company series. If that sounds good to you, please subscribe to the channel because this is something that I think entrepreneurs need more of. As an entrepreneur, I think everybody here can relate. There's always been a time where you have felt alone or isolated or like you didn't quite have the insights that you needed to take your business to the next level. Sometimes you got to go with your gut and wing it and test, and we're used to that. But I think sometimes it would also be nice to be able to have some sort of blueprint or at least some sort of context so that that territory that you're going into isn't as uncertain and isn't as scary. And that's what we want to provide for you here on this channel. So I love you guys. I hope you enjoyed this video, and comment down below what are some topics that you think would be most urgent or most important for you to get insights on when it comes to running your business. This is Mikhail. Appreciate you taking the time, and I'll see you in the next video.